Ever wish you could just stare at a demon and make it explode with the sheer force of your brain power? Welcome to the GreyKnights, an elite squad of silver-armored psychic super soldiers who don't just fight demons, they delete them like the corrupted files on the Emperor's desktop. And yeah, we're only 10 seconds in, but I'm already questioning my sexuality. I mean, look at these guys. They're built like Greek statues, glow with holy light, and could probably bench press your soul. I'm a cow, a straight cow, and yet I'd let one of them read my mind any day of the week. Whoa. Someone better lock me up for that. That was a criminal statement. So strap in, grab your psychic hood, and welcome back to A Falling Cow, where we explain Warhammer lore like a drunk servitor with a concussion. Today, we're diving into the GreyKnights, the Emperor's secret demon-smashing psychic squad who've never once been corrupted by chaos. That's right, never, not once, not even a tiny case of warp pink eye. So let's get into this before Zinch decides to retcon the lore and toss me into a bus full of warp ketamine. Oh no! The GreyKnights are what happens when the Emperor says, okay, what if I made a space marine, but gave him psychic powers, immunity to chaos, and also made him smoking hot? Hey, before you start making accusations, guys, these are his words, not mine, I swear to God. The GreyKnights are decked out in silver power armor, armed with Nemesis force weapons, and have more psychic firepower than a whole coven of angry librarians on Recaf and Heresy. But here's the thing. You don't simply join the GreyKnights. You get abducted by the Sisters of Silence, who throw you onto a black ship, the mysterious vessels that roam the galaxy gathering psykers for the Emperor. Most of these psykers are sacrificed to the Emperor to sustain his life on the Golden Throne, but a select few with the right potential are chosen to become new members of the GreyKnights. Once you're picked, your memories are wiped so thoroughly that not even your mom will remember you existed. And no, that's not a joke, just sad reality. The GreyKnights also operate under the authority of the Inquisition, specifically the Ordo Malleus, the branch obsessed with tracking down and obliterating demonic threats. Think of the GreyKnights as the Inquisition's personal wrecking crew, the chamber militant, trained and equipped to handle the absolute worst the warp can vomit into real space. While Inquisitors can call on their aid when things get especially spicy, the GreyKnights don't take direct orders from just anyone with a fancy eye stamped to his chest. They follow their own command structure and answer to their own leadership, operating with a level of independence that keeps them terrifying, mysterious, and maybe just a little bit smug. So, when Horus started acting up and kicked off the Horus Heresy, the Emperor, the winner of the annual Worst Father of the Galaxy award winner, realized, yup, this whole making 20 demigods with emotional issues thing might have backfired. That's where the GreyKnights come in. As a backup plan to the galaxy-sized disaster unfolding, the Emperor authorized the creation of a super elite order of demon-slaying space marines who couldn't be corrupted by chaos even if they bathed in warp spaghetti. The GreyKnights were created in secret at the end of the heresy under something called the Emperor's Final Sanction, a project greenlit by Big Daddy E himself and carried out by his war crime buddy, Malcador the Sigillite. Malcador personally selected 8 loyalist space marines from his own order, formerly called the Knights Errant, some of whom were originally from traitor legions, but didn't turn on their best bros. These 8 became the first GreyKnights. They were psychically scrubbed, reforged, and reborn into absolute demon-wrecking machines. Every GreyKnight is a psyker, something that would usually make chaos foam at the mouth of excitement, but not these guys. They're genetically and spiritually shielded from corruption and the warp. Like it's literally physically impossible for them to fall to chaos. It's basically the Emperor's ultimate flex. I made the perfect boy, and he sparkles like chrome. So who do the GreyKnights fight? One word, demons. A whole fucking shitload of demons. If it's got too many limbs, hisses in warp tongue, or bleeds reality juice when it dies, the GreyKnights are on it like purity seals on a chaplain. They exclusively battle the forces of chaos, and that means they're constantly up against blood-crazed corn demons, slime-dripping Nurgle zombies, hallucinogen-prone ketamine-abusing slash horrors, and whatever Zinch is cooking that day. It's probably ketamine. Other chapters might fight orcs or Tyranids, but GreyKnights, they eat demonic incursions like breakfast and ask for seconds. Also, they're really into purging entire populations who witness demonic events. Did you survive that battle? Sorry, your eyes saw something spooky. Time to be silenced for the Emperor. So what are the GreyKnights doing in the grim dark hellscape of the 42nd Millennium? Besides being the Emperor's most elite demon yeeters, these boys have been busier than a tech priest at a toaster convention. Let's start with some spicy stuff. The First War for Armageddon. During that war, a fully manifest Angron, you know, that schizophrenic demon Primarch of Khorne, who decided to drop into reality and start cleaving through the Imperium like it owed him schmeckles. So the GreyKnights teleported in, specifically 110 of them, and said, "Not today, Skull Daddy." They proceeded to literally banish a full-blown demon Primarch back to the warp. Sure, half of them died doing it, but if there's one thing GreyKnights do best, it's die gloriously while shoving their spear rods up a demon's ass. Now you'd think the Imperium would throw a parade for beating the angry boy himself. Well, you would be wrong. Because the GreyKnights' very existence is a massive secret, anyone who saw them, guardsmen, civilians, even other Imperial personnel, are deemed a threat to the Imperial secrecy. Thus, the Inquisition ordered a complete purge. Entire populations were either mind-wiped or outright exterminated to keep the demon-fighting secrets safe. This is where we get the Monks of Shame. Because the Space Wolves, led by the absolute legend, Logan Grimner, were not cool with this. When they found out civilians were being slaughtered by the very people who were supposed to be protecting them, they confronted the Inquisition and the GreyKnights. Tensions flared, punches were thrown, and bolters were fired. Grimnar basically stared down some of the most terrifying psykers in the Imperium and said, "Try me, I'm a fucking furry, bitch." It was a rare moment when the Imperium's dirty laundry almost exploded into open civil war. All because the GreyKnights did what they always do: follow orders, destroy chaos, and leave scorched earth behind. Now fast forward to the Indominus Crusade. Now that Guilliman is back on the scene, he's trying to put the galaxy back together with duct tape and spite. The GreyKnights have been right there helping him, purging chaos infestations and acting as the demon swatting strike force for Crusade fleets across the stars. But things went really sideways during the Battle of Malak Bela. Fleet Quartus of the Indominus Crusade, under Fleet Master Trinkus Abgas, who the fuck comes up with these names, Games Workshop, discovered a psychic beacon called the Coral Engine. It's basically a knockoff Astronomicon, helping lost Imperials navigate the warp. When Inquisitor Gloria Imaga asked for help protecting it, the GreyKnights rolled up alongside the whole Fleet Quartus to defend it from the usual warp nonsense. Unfortunately, that warp nonsense turned out to be Angron again.
Well, we're fucked.
Yeah, turns out destroying a psychic beacon really gets his attention. The big red rage machine showed up with his entire blood wave, and despite the GreyKnights' best efforts, the Coral Engine exploded, not only shattering the planet, but allowing Angron to release Khorne's murder curse on the whole fleet. A warp plague that basically makes everyone go full Doom Guy, except instead of killing demons, they kill everyone else. Now to be clear, the GreyKnights were completely immune. As usual, not a single one of them fell to chaos. Not even a little. Even among a crusade fleet where Sisters of Silence and Custodians were holding the line, only the GreyKnights have the perfect, unbroken record of never being corrupted. Not once. That's their whole thing. They're the anti-warp, anti-virus of the Imperium. Still, the murder curse absolutely ravaged the Indominus Crusade Cordis fleet. Almost every battle group succumbed to madness, transforming into berserker, corn-worshipping lunatics faster than you could say, "Blood for the Blood God! Blood for the Blood God! Blood for the Blood God!" Even the few who resisted, the loyalists who clung to sanity with bloody fingertips, were eventually massacred. The GreyKnights and the Adeptus Custodes, the purest warriors of the Imperium, held out longer than anyone else, purging corrupted comrades and resisting the call of Khorne with sheer willpower and psychic discipline. But even they were overwhelmed in the end, torn apart in a storm of blood, brass, and betrayal. No one made it out as the Cordis fleet was utterly lost. Basically, in the 42nd millennium, the GreyKnights are everywhere, popping up like warp-fueled Batman to stop chaos outbreaks, support Imperial crusades, and punch demons in the face, all while wearing armor that costs more than a Forge World's GDP. And through it all, they've never once been corrupted. Not by Khorne, not by Tzeentch, not even by Slaanesh, and she's really trying. So there you go, psychic demon-killing super soldiers who've never turned evil, never called in sick, and never smiled in their life. The GreyKnights are the Emperor's last line of defense against the literal worst nightmares the warp can manifest. If you like this one, guys, give it a like, subscribe, and maybe tattoo a purity seal on your forehead for good luck. This has been a Fallen Cow, and remember, guys, stay melt. I'll see you in the next video.